Welcome everyone to Rosemont, Illinois on a historic day for professional softball. Opening day of the AUSL, home to the biggest and brightest stars in the sport. A moment softball fans have long awaited, and a league for the game's future stars to dream of.
When I was little,
I wanted to be Natasha Watley.
I wanted to be Jenny Finch. But I never thought I'd be in the big leagues. Because there was never a league like this.
The next legendary big league is here. Built by legends of the game to be unlike any other. Athletes Unlimited Softball League. Unlimited potential. Unlimited impact. Where we're all one team, even when we're rivals. A league that will be legendary from the moment it launches. This is legendary.
Welcome to the Athletes Unlimited Softball League, presented by Nike. It is an opening day unlike any other. The debut of the AUSL inside a packed house, a sold-out crowd at Parkway Bank Sports Complex in Rosemont, Illinois. The fans are ready and the stars are ready. The #1 overall pick in the inaugural draft, Lexi Kilfoyle, set to go for the Bandits as they face off with the USA Softball Collegiate Player of the Year in Bree Ellis, making her pro debut for the Talons. It's an absolute honor to join you from the booth alongside the two-time All-American Amanda Scarborough. I'm Chucky Kemp. You have watched this sport over the last 10 to 20 years explode in popularity, but the pro game has struggled to find its footing. The consensus about the AUSL, the time is right now.
Yeah, in 3 words, this is it. Everybody has been looking forward to today, knowing that it was going to be game 1 of something new, special, the investment, the support, the big names that are involved in this league. I mean, this absolutely is it. It is going to be legendary, and today is just day 1.
I mean, we are loaded with stars. We could go down an entire roster of players to keep an eye on. National Players of the Year, though, will lead the charge today. Skylar Wallace for the Bandits at shortstop is electric.
It's hard to pick out just a couple of players because there really are stars everywhere, all over on both rosters. But Skylar Wallace has to be a player that you talk about because of her athleticism, her power from the left side, and the way that she's going to start at shortstop for the Bandits today. She is truly one of the best and one of the youngest up-and-comers that we're going to see out here on these rosters.
Another one.
And then Montana Fouts for the Talons. 2021 National Pitcher of the Year, a 4-time All-American at Alabama. She will get the start going head-to-head with Lexi Kilfoyle. Yes, you just heard that right. Lexi Kilfoyle versus Montana Fouts in Game 1 of the AUSL. What a pitching matchup, but the star from Alabama, Montana Fouts, will get the ball today for the Talons.
Well, what an absolutely momentous day for women's professional sports. Here's the lineup for the Talons. Have you ever seen Bree Ellis in the 7-hole? One of the best hitters on the planet right now. That shows you how good this league is. We'll see how quickly she can move up this Talons order that is stacked. Victoria Hayward, Sydney Romero, Charlize Palacios lead things off for that club, led by Howard Dobson as one of our 4 head coaches in this inaugural season. Here come the Bandits. There's another one of their rookies, Devin Netz. Bubba Nichols, the longtime pro, out in left field. We'll get the chance to talk to Bubba in-game today and get her thoughts on this. And here comes Lexi Kilfoyle, the #1 overall pick, the 2024 Big 12 Pitcher of the Year and a first-team All-American out of Oklahoma State. She's from Land O'Lakes, Florida, and what an honor it was for her to hear her name first on draft night.
Yeah, the Bandits knew exactly who they wanted. They wanted Lexi Kilfoyle for this exact reason, to be their ace, to be their starter, and to open up this AUSL season. And boy, did she have a great year last season as a rookie. Throws hard down in the zone with her drop ball. Cannot wait to see how she goes at the Talons hitters today.
We are so close to history being made, and we will have a lot of it today. Everything that happens is going to be a first. There was a great event in downtown Chicago last night, kind of a welcome gathering. And one of the co-founders, John Patrikoff and Jonathan Soros. Jonathan Soros got up and said, look, it's always fun to be a part of the first. Let's make this the last first for professional softball. Victoria Hayward, longtime pro, played her college ball at Washington. She was an Olympian with Canada in 2020 and won a bronze medal. She was the very first player ever to sign with Athletes Unlimited back in 2020, before the AUSL was a thought. She was the last pick in the AUSL inaugural draft this year, and this is her final professional season. Kilfoyle versus Hayward, and we are underway in a new era for professional softball.
Ball will be tossed out and authenticated. You better believe I had my phone out videoing that first pitch of the AUSL. What a moment.
Sold out stadium here in Chicago. One of 2 games being played today. The other site is in Wichita, Kansas. It will be the Blaze and the Volts.
Sold out crowd. People were lining up well over 2 hours before first pitch.
Hayward lays down a bunt, and she's cut down at first base. Delaney Wisz making a nice play over at third. That was Delaney Wisz, who is an assistant coach at Nevada for Victoria Hayward.
Lots of connections on all these teams, and just in our softball world, that's for sure.
Gotta love the head coach testing her assistant for the first out in AUSL history. Now Sydney Romero, one of 2 Romeros in this league. Sister Sierra in Wichita, as Sydney goes down on 1 pitch, popping that up to Erin Koffel at second base. What are you most excited for today in these first few days of the season? Like, what stands out?
I think just to learn, to see how these coaches are going to structure their lineups, their pitching staffs in these series, and just how they're going to go about things. I think there's a lot to learn from the coaches' strategies in all aspects of the game.
Charlize Palacios swings and misses on the first pitch. Talking to the Talons head coach Howard Dobson, and as well as Stacy Newbin-Denise, who's the Bandits head coach, about really just how fast this has been. It was essentially a little training camp before the season, but it was, 10, 12 days for these teams to come together, figure out what pieces fit where. And to your point, I think we'll all learn a little bit on the field, off the field.
It's going to be a lot of learning in these early days, but I think we're all fast learners, which is going to benefit the league and the teams. Just so much excitement coming off of an incredible Women's College World Series. I remember on day 1 of the World Series was the announcement of the MLB investment. I mean, it's just been one thing after another in our sport, where it just feels right now that this is the peak of the attention and how big it feels.
Into right field, that is right at Corey McMillan. A 1-2-3 start for Lexi Kilfoyle in the debut of the AUSL. Just an 8-pitch inning. Bottom of the first on opening day of the AUSL. Talons don't get anything in the top half against Lexi Kilfoyle. See plenty of Bandits fans in attendance as fans start to choose their allegiances for these teams who do not yet have city-based homes. Certainly a lot of Bandits fans, though, around these parts. And here's the lineup that they send to the dish. Zerkle, Wallace, and then Bubba Nichols-Camarena out in left field. She will be in the 3-hole. Has a great history with Athletes Unlimited. Longtime pro assistant coach at her alma mater, UCLA. And then some talented rookies there, too, with Devin Netz out of Arizona and Corey McMillan from Virginia Tech. A very dangerous lineup with plenty of power. They will face off with Montana Fouts, a second-year pro from Grayson, Kentucky. She played her college ball at Alabama, where she was the 2021 National Pitcher of the Year for Patrick Murphy. It is fantastic to see Montana back in the circle.
Yeah, absolutely. She is a pitcher that is really long, really explosive, powerful, and she gets out to the end of the circle and the ball just can get on you. So excited to see Montana Fouts throw, known for her speed, being more up in the zone. And I'm anxious to see how her changeup looks coming into this second year of playing in Athletes Unlimited, a pitch that she wants to continue to develop.
Very tough top two in the order for her to face off with. So much speed and so much creativity at the plate with Morgan Zerkle and Skylar Wallace right behind her. Back-to-back lefties before you get to Bubba. Morgan Zerkle in her 6th year with Athletes Unlimited from Milton, West Virginia. Was a star at Marshall, where she is now the head coach. Just completed her 2nd year as the head coach at her alma mater. And Morgan Zerkle is going to have the first hit in AUSL history, and it's going to be a double.
Go ahead and throw that ball off. Get it authenticated first after first after first, that these fans, a sold-out crowd gets to witness. We get to see it. Everything is so new, but Morgan Zerkle got all in to that outside pitch. It's like a screwball in the outside corner, and she just stays on it for extra bases. First hit, first extra base hit off the bat of the veteran Morgan Zerkle to get the Bandits going.
Skylar Wallace with an opportunity to produce the league's first run. Do you feel like there's nerves that these players might not be accustomed to today?
Definitely. You were talking to Sydney Romero. She said she woke up feeling the nerves. And I'm sure she was just one person that we had a chance to talk to. I bet they were all feeling it. Kind of like that feeling that you got when you're playing in the World Series again, like that same type of big game nerves that you just crave as an athlete.
2-0 count. Good spot from Fouts for strike one. Skylar Wallace was the 11th overall selection in the AUSL inaugural draft. She's from Woodstock, Georgia, and actually played at Alabama with Montana Fouts to start her career. This is back to Fouts. There's out number one. Bubba Nichols Camarena, 5th year out of Merced, California. Was a GA last year for the Bruins softball program, but moved into a full-time assistant coaching role this year. On the other side of this matchup is one of her fellow assistant coaches at UCLA and one of the legends of the sport, Lisa Fernandez, who's the general manager for the Talons. I have to imagine a little bit of friendly competition there, but knowing both of them, or knowing Bubba and having talked to Lisa this morning, there is certainly an intensity when it comes to those two between the lines.
Yeah, there's that competitive feeling amongst all 4 of the teams, and amongst the GMs and the head coaches and the players who are all in this together to try to make this league as best as it can. But ultimately, everybody wants to win. All these players and coaches are so competitive. Like it hit off the knob of the bat. Tough luck for Bubba.
Hard to imagine the launch of the AUSL without Stacey Newman-Denise, who's been a longtime part of the professional game. Of course, an incredible player in her day at UCLA as a 4-time All-American and a national champion. As Bubba goes down swinging, and Fouts might have a chance to get out of this.
So you go off the knob of the bat, which is up and in to Bubba, getting her to back up off the plate to a curveball moving away that she chases. It's a great location for Montana Fouts. She got a little bit called off with the plate earlier in the AB, in the back of Bubba's mind, and Fouts uses it to her advantage.
Working with Charlize Palacios behind the plate. They'll try to get Koffel now and strand that leadoff double at third base.
And you know, with this traditional format, as compared to the past summers that we've had where the teams were shuffling around every single week, these batteries and these teams and players and coaches are really going to get to know each other. You saw Charlize Palacios talking to Montana Fouts, communicating with her is a way that a catcher can only do with the pitcher.
Popped up. Palacios under it, and that's going to do it. Big time bounce back from Montana Fouts after the leadoff double. Superstars all over. We've got a legend too, though. The head coach of the Bandits, Stacey Newman-Denise. Look at these old Bruin colors going yard against Oklahoma. She was a national champion in 1999, four-time All-American, three-time Olympian, two of them gold medals. Just an unbelievable career that she has had. And with more on Stacey, we join Savannah Collins for the first time.
Although it's the first day of the AUSL, it is not the first time Stacey Newman-Denise has been the head coach of the Bandits. She led the storied franchise during its first iteration in the National Pro Fast Pitch League, won a championship in 2018, and she said it changed the trajectory of her coaching career because it just reignited a fire in her that she needed. Now, being back in the blue and red, it's a pinch me moment for Coach. She said the staff, the support, the resources that she's had around her has blown her away, and she is ready to pursue being the first team to win an AUSL championship.
She's done things that have never been done at the college game, too, with San Diego State, leading that program to their first ever super regional in 2023. Delaney Wisz, her third baseman, was a former assistant coach on her staff at San Diego State. There's a lot of great connections in this league, and there's a lot of people that this means a lot to. As the slow roller toward Koffel at second. That'll do it for Ali Aguilar on one pitch, one out.
I mean, just the big names that are involved, their history, their championships, their accolades, their knowledge, I mean, expertise, just you can talk so highly of the coaching staffs and the support and the GMs. I mean, everybody who is involved in this league wants it to work, and they have so much to contribute to it. Big names in our sport because they wanted to be involved.
Hannah Flippen, a three-time All-American, two-time Pac-12 Player of the Year during her time at Utah. Along with Anissa Ortez, who's in Wichita on the other side of the AUSL circuit tonight. Led them to Supers in 2017. (3-0).
It's always interesting to see at the beginning of the season. Are the pitchers going to be hotter than the hitters, or the hitters going to be hotter than the pitchers? Your guess is that the pitchers are going to be hotter, but I just don't even feel like you know anymore. Because I feel like we've seen offenses come out and score a bunch of runs early in the season the past few summers. So these pitchers are going to have to be on high alert and have their best stuff early.
Lexi Kilfoyle stayed with it at Oklahoma State. She was a GA there for her alma mater. So Kenny Gajewski was great in allowing her to get a decent number of bullpens in. She was also able to work out with the team this year to stay in shape. That's always the challenge. And year two is always interesting too, because it's the first time these players come back to the leagues or come back to international play as Flippen goes down looking without having coming off a college season.
Yeah, Lexi went both to her changeup and her drop ball in this AB, and then spots her drop ball perfectly on the inside corner, gets a little bit off the plate, and you'll notice compared to the college game, the strike zone is a little bit bigger that you'll notice in the pro game because these hitters are so good. The pitchers need a little bit of help sometimes getting more off the edge.
They really want the zone called to a T. If it touches the zone in any way, call it. It is bigger at the top. They want to give a full ball at the top of the zone.
And you were talking about just that tough transition period of you go from being a four-year college athlete, practicing every day, strength and conditioning, people telling you everything that you're supposed to do, and then you become a pro and you just don't have that system and that regimen anymore. And sometimes you see players fall off in their second seasons because they come here after their college career and they're fresh. I mean, they're the most prepared, arguably, for the professional season because they just came off of playing 55 games against tough competition. So it is that struggle of trying to stay prepared when you don't have that college schedule anymore.
Jacobsen into right field. A base hit. That'll go down as the first ever hit for the Talons. for Caroline Jacobsen.
Yeah, it's just a great piece of hitting by Caroline Jacobsen. This is a 1-2 pitch, a pitcher's count on a changeup that is just left too much up in the zone, and Jacobsen recognizes it. That pitch is up at her eyes off the plate, and she just shoots it the other way. I mean, that is a good piece of hitting early in the count with 2 strikes for Jacobsen.
Here is Bree Ellis for the first time as a pro. And this is power on power. Kilfoyle versus Ellis. The USA Softball Collegiate Player of the Year. Beating the top 3 of Nyjah Kennedy and Jordy Ball. Takes strike 1. The second pick in the AUSL college draft behind Oklahoma pitcher Sam Landry. 2 years at Arkansas, 2 All-American nods.
She just had one of the greatest seasons of any college softball hitter. And knowing that she's feared when she steps into the box, this is what she said before today's game. I could go up to the plate knowing they know I'm Bree Ellis. They know any pitch they throw can leave the park. And pitchers did know that in college. And she had that mindset because she hit, what, 25 home runs, 26?
Popped up. This one will stay on the infield. Devin Netz, another rookie underneath it. And that'll do it for the top of the second. Kilfoyle, a couple zeros. The inaugural season of the AUSL, presented by Nike. What a moment before the game. The commissioner of the AUSL, Kim Ng, named the first AUSL commissioner on April 16th, and then 3 absolute legends, Natasha Watley, Jenny Finch, Jess Mendoza, throwing out the first pitches today. 3 of the advisors for this league. The other one, Kat Osterman, who was here last night at the welcome event, is in Wichita because she is the general manager for the Volts, who will play the Blaze later tonight in Wichita. Kim Ng, Jenny Finch, Jess Mendoza, Natasha Watley, Kat Osterman.
It's the who's who. I mean, to get a chance to see all 3 of those first pitch pitchers right next to each other, that tells you about who is involved in this league and just the commitment. Jessica Mendoza, Jenny Finch, Natasha Watley, 3 of the best and 3 of the players that are role models to every single athlete out here.
Devin Netz first at bat as a pro against Montana Fouts. You mentioned earlier the MLB partnership that was announced on May 29th. Major League Baseball announcing a strategic investment in the AUSL. And there's a lot that goes into that as Netz grounds this to Flippin, 1 out. I thought one quote was pretty telling for the leader of this league, Kim Ng. The MLB Commissioner, Rob Manfred, in part of what he said this agreement reflects our confidence in Kim Ng's leadership, the AUSL vision, and the incredible talent of these athletes. There's Kim Ng in attendance.
It does feel like she's the one common denominator of an answer that comes up from anybody that you talk to about why they wanted to be involved in this league, why they trusted this league, why they felt like this league could have a lot of success is because of Kim Ng and her experience. She played softball herself too, so she has the roots of softball and got to see it from a baseball angle. She was a part of MLB.
Lisa Fernandez, when we talked to her about her involvement as general manager of the Talons, said that was when I heard Kim Ng was involved, that really opened my eyes. This is in the jet stream. Flippin handles it. 5 straight retired for Fouts after that leadoff double. And the MLB investment is huge for the future of professional softball in the AUSL. Shared commitment to grow the game. If you go on MLB.com right now, you will see a ton of information, articles about the AUSL, about opening day, the players, the connections. This is hit hard to left and foul. And Kim Ng, I talked to her yesterday, she said, we're not asking them to do that. That's the MLB's excitement for this league showing through on its own.
All of that, and then even seeing MLB post about the college game during the World Series and the postseason and various moments throughout the season, like that stood out to me. That just didn't really happen before, and I know that it's because of their commitment to the pro softball.
Delaney Wisz deep to right center field, off the wall. She turns and slides into second with a double.
I feel like this is the type of game, Chucky, that every hit, every strikeout, every run scored is just going to feel like you're a little kid again playing the game. I mean, what a great piece of hitting this time by Delaney Wisz. Gets a curveball in the outside corner, hits it exactly where it's pitched. That was about a ball off of the plate, and she still barreled it up, almost hit it out of here. I mean, that was just short by about a foot. 74-mile-an-hour exit velocity off the bat.
Runner on with 2 outs for Jordan Roberts, the catcher. Fouls that up and out of play. I was talking to Delaney Wisz yesterday. You know, she's been around the last few years and just quietly has been super productive, has come up in clutch moments. She's had a great glove over at third base, and she said, I feel like I'm just consistently me.
I feel like she's consistently consistent. Is that a thing? I mean, maybe I'm just saying the same thing twice, but that's what you think of when you think of how Delaney Wisz has played defense, has crushed the ball, quality at bat after quality at bat that she's put together in this league since she entered it.
Another foul ball from Roberts, fighting against Montana Fouts right now. Roberts' 6th season with Athletes Unlimited. She has played in every prior iteration of the league. Talons thought that might have been strike 3 to finish the inning.
Yeah. We'll see if that one starts to get called. As a pitcher, you definitely want that one in this league. Curveball right at the knees, about a ball off the plate. You want that to be called.
Got her swinging. Couple strikeouts for Montana Fouts. And we have a pitcher's duel brewing on opening day. Coming up next, Bubba Nichols Camarena live in the field. Scoreless through 2 innings here on the AUSL's opening day between the Bandits and the Talons. That is Bubba Nichols Camarena out in left field in her 5th season out of UCLA. Hello, Bubba. The AUX champion, longtime pro assistant coach at UCLA. Bubba, when you woke up this morning, what was going through your mind?
Honestly, a lot of excitement, a little bit of nerves, just knowing that this is going to be such a great first year of something that's new and sustainable. So super excited, and I'm just pumped that we have a full stadium today. Like, I don't remember the last time we had fans out in the outfield.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
What's it been like so far after this pitch to play for Stacey Newman-Denise?
Yeah, she's incredible. Yeah, Lane! She's incredible. She's also a fellow Bruin, so I definitely have known her from other interactions. So it's definitely been a really cool experience. Just learning from her, just seeing how her poise as a coach just exudes into the team. A lot of confidence and a lot of strategy behind her, so it's really good.
For you, it was even quicker, but this whole process of kind of the training camp leading up to this opening day has been fast. You got in late because you were at the Women's College World Series with UCLA. What has it been like since you have arrived in trying to kind of get this team together?
Man, I jumped in to something that was already a full steamed going engine. They were already...
Oh, there it is. The first ever home run in the AUSL. It's a rookie, Sierra Sacco out of Mississippi State. Welcome to the pros.
first pro at bat. And she hits a home run. This is unbelievable. Sierra Sacco from the 9-hole, fresh off of her season at Mississippi State, where she became a home run hitter this year. She was a slapper. She'd only hit a couple of home runs as a junior at Mississippi State, slapped at Louisiana Tech a couple seasons before that, and truly became a power hitter and is clearly going to bring it to the pro game.
Back to the top of the order with Vic Hayward, a longtime pro. We were interrupted by Sierra Sacco there with Bubba, but part of this is getting used to the rookies and getting used to all your new teammates, and that's what we were kind of talking about. But what has that process been like the last week?
Yeah, it's definitely been a really big challenge, but at the same time really rewarding. Obviously, you see the rookies are coming in full force, and just it's cool to learn from them. I watched them as a college coach at their program, so seeing them and how they operate in their training and just how they operate as individuals is really cool to learn from.
And then, Bubba, I mean, there's just so many things to ask you what you're excited about, but just in general, when you think about this next month coming up, what are you most excited about with this league?
I'm super excited, just the growth. MLB backing it is going to be a really amazing opportunity for all of us. Just being able to be on different platforms, and honestly, I think that gives a lot of space for us to grow as female athletes. And yeah, Sky, had away. Man, a lot of balls hit this one. Great job, Sky. Great job. But yeah, I think it's just going to be a really amazing opportunity for growth for this sport, and just to be on a lot of different platforms. It's going to inspire, hopefully, a lot of the next generation. I watched, Olympians growing up, and I watched softball players growing up, so hopefully this gives other younger athletes the ability to do the same with us.
Sydney Romero now at the plate takes strike one from kill four. I know we're running a little low on time, Bubba, with 2 outs, but you've been a part of Athletes Unlimited for a while now. You've paid attention to the sport for a long time, and you've been on the road with UCLA. Is there a different buzz about this season in the league right now?
Yeah, I think it's just more. There's a lot more excitement with knowing that there's more to come after college sports. There's a lot more conversations about it. There's a lot more goals that are being set to be a part of something like this. So I think just being able to know that college isn't the end game for a lot of the athletes now, and that they can look forward to a professional career and one that is sustainable.
Bubba, we are already loving life in the AUSL. We hope you are too, and I'm sure we'll catch up throughout the season, but thanks so much for doing this.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Chucky.
Thanks, Bubba. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Bubba Nichols, a star on the field as a player, a star as a coach too, a rising star as a coach. We talked to Lisa Fernandez about her approach. We talked to Stacey Newman-Denise about just the winner that Bubba is and kind of the energy that she provides with a team. She did get here late, and Stacey Newman-Denise said she jumped right in. There was no growing pains with Bubba. She jumped right into it to become a part of this team.
Just her ability to coach others. Lisa Fernandez was bragging on her as they both work with the UCLA offense together, as Lisa Fernandez leads the charge, and then Bubba Nichols kind of executes in the dugout when Lisa is coaching third base. Just has a true coaching skill. She's just a natural at it.
Sydney Romero battling at the plate right now. So she has her older sister Sierra in the league. Her younger sister Sophia is going to be a sophomore at Boise State next year, and her brother Mikey is doing fantastic in the Red Sox organization, a former first-round pick. And Wallace can't quite get there. Completely laying out, and hopefully Skylar Wallace is okay. That was full extension. That'll go down as an infield single for Romero. There is big concern, though, right now for the Bandits shortstop Skylar Wallace, who is one of the most electric players in the sport.
It came off the bat weird because Sydney Romero was just so jammed, and then when she laid out, it looked like the ball hit off of her glove and into her hand, or her hand was there in her glove whenever she laid out. It looked like something's going on with her hand, with the way that she was looking at it, got up, and the way that she's holding it. timing of exactly on how all that played out.
Few work harder than Skylar Wallace. And we kind of got to see that on her social medias throughout the year. And a lot of that work came with Sydney's sister, Sierra. They trained together a lot in the offseason. We'll keep a close eye on Skylar as this game goes on. It's a big part of the Bandits puzzle. Palacios, still 2 away. Ooh, off speed from Lexi Kilfoyle.
That's the part that Lexi Kilfoyle can get you with, is her changeup and the way that she's able to vary her speeds. The last off-speed pitch was 57, and then that one comes in at 62.
Oh man, that is smoked into the crowd.
And then it makes that pitch on the inner half seem even harder because she saw a couple of off-speed pitches before that. So then you throw that pitch up and in on the hands and it gets on you in a hurry. It feels like a faster pitch.
Another 0-2 to Palacios. Ground ball, hard hit, and that gets Romero. She was running and just never saw it coming, got her in the back foot. How about a first for Sierra Sacco?
This is an incredible moment, one that I think that I will personally always remember forever. Her first professional AB, her first pro home run. Sierra Sacco gets the Talons on the board and makes AUSL history.
1-0, Sierra Sacco puts the Talons on the board over the Bandits here on the AUSL's inaugural season opening day. Bottom of the third coming up. We have a very special guest joining us. Last night, the welcome event for the AUSL. That's Kat Osterman, Jenny Finch, Natasha Watley, Kim Ng, the commissioner of the league, and a legend of Major League Baseball as a manager and a player, Joe Torre, who now joins us. And Joe, I know you have a long history with Kim Ng, and from someone who knows her and has worked with her like you have, why is she the person to lead professional softball into the future?
I mean, if I was hiring female coaches, she'd have been coaching third base without any experience. I mean, that's what I think of Kim Ng. She's just so smart, and she never backs away from any kind of challenge. And I'm really tickled for her that she's putting this together. And you know, as far as I'm concerned, she's putting it together the right way. You start out with 4 teams, and instead of, really trying to get a bunch of teams and not care about the product, she's making sure she walks and doesn't run on this thing.
Joe, it was a historic day in our sport on May 29th when MLB announced that they would make a strategic investment into the AUSL. But how impactful do you think that can be for the future of softball in general?
Oh, I think when you have MLB, making the contribution, which means they recognize the importance of what this league means. I know my wife's been pounding me over the head for, you're going to have women in baseball. You're going to have women in baseball. And, first of all, I'm afraid to say no to her. But, they're women athletes. Look what's happened in the basketball league and how, how they've come along and have gotten so competitive and so great to watch. And I think that's the key. I mean, you're going to have people gain interest in this. And, I've been watching this week all the, the college tournaments going on, and it's amazing. And I know I try to put myself at home plate when I see these ladies, pitching, and I have no chance. I can tell you that right now.
I'll pitch to you after this game, and you would have, I think, a better chance off of me than probably off of Montana Fouts, who is pitching right now. But you said you were watching college softball. You're watching this game out here today. What do you enjoy most about our game of softball?
Well, the game of softball, it's, to me, it's just baseball with a big ball. And, I mean, the camaraderie, the teamwork, the caring for each other. I think life's a team sport. And when I see any kind of team sport, I think it's the best thing for kids to learn to begin with. But when you see the women here, really care, they're athletes, and I think that's the one thing that you know, some people are hesitant about is the athleticism that these women show, and I think it's pretty cool myself. I enjoy watching it. The game is quick and it moves, and you can't take your eye off it because you'll miss something.
Joe, so happy you joined us. Before we let you go, I have to ask, when you look back at your storied career, what are you most proud of?
Well, you know, I'm most proud of winning the World Series, and I won the MVP in '71 as a player, but I would have given that up any minute for an opportunity to do what I eventually did with the Yankees and get into a World Series and then win a World Series, and you know, I had a special group of players, but it's really cool to have so many players all pull in the same direction, and to me, that's that made my life as far as on you know, the professional scene.
Well, we are honored that you joined us. Thank you so much, and we're so happy that you're here for this historic day.
Well, we're all pulling for AUSL. It's you know, I'm first of all for Kim Eng, but mainly just for the sport itself.
Absolutely. Thanks, Joe.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
That's a legend right there in the building for a historic day, and there's a great relationship between Kim Eng and Joe Torre, as you heard there. But you know, we've talked to Kim about him and how great he was from the beginning of her career, really, and they've crossed paths at numerous different spots along the way. That's how big this is, though.
It's a big deal he's here. Huge deal. There's been a lot of stars that have come out. A lot of celebrity, former athletes, current athletes supporting softball this week.
Might have a challenge on the field. Stacey Newman-Denise getting some explanation here from our umpiring crew, Scott Mayer, John Schaefer, Jim Cooper.
Call at second base is out. That is being challenged by the Bandits. The play is now under review.
Checking on Sydney McKinney at second base, if she in fact was out on that force play. Let's take another look.
Yeah, I think it's going to be about where Aguilar's foot is, if her foot is actually on the base. I think that's what we're looking for, because the throw beats her. But does her foot actually connect with the base? It looks like to me that the side of her foot touches the side of the base. So I think that there's not going to be indisputable video evidence to be able to overturn that and say that you clearly see that her foot's not on the bag. But definitely unusual way with how she caught that force out. Usually it's touching the top, but I like the way that she keeps herself out of the way of the slide and is at the edge of the bag.
2 challenges per game for the coaches, and then after the 6th inning, same as the college game, the umpires may initiate a review.
After review, the call is upheld. The runner is out.
So 1 out here, and Zerkle aboard at first base. This is already intense day 1 here. This is the drama's building a little bit. 1-0 here in the middle innings. Couple great pitchers going head to head, and a rookie trying to leave her mark on day 1. Here's Wallace, who we saw a little banged up last inning on that diving attempt at shortstop.
I'm wondering the type of pain that she's feeling in her right hand.
One. Wallace started at Alabama, played 2 years there. She was really one of the last players who sat due to the transfer rules in 2021 when she moved to Florida, and that got her on the elbow. It has been a tough day for Skylar Wallace.
All on the right side of her body, too. There's her right hand on defense, and now her right elbow that will take the brunt of this pitch with her elbow guard. Trying to work that pitch up and in her hands, and gets a little too far in.
Is it Bubba's time? First and second for Fouts. Bubba Nichols, Camarena at the plate. Ball one downstairs. Bubba played 2 years in Japan, won silver in 2020 at the Tokyo Olympics. He was the youngest player on that team.
That's a good pitch by Montana Fouts to get that pitch hard inside these hitters. Already in this game, you're seeing hitters sit on the outside corner and go with pitches very well. They've been going with the changeup like Caroline Jacobsen did.
Bubba lofts it into right field. Jacobsen under it. Zerkle wants to run, and the throw in cut off by flipping to keep Wallace at first.
So these pitchers are going to have to throw these hitters hard on the inner half, and you ride a fine line, right? Because Montana Fouts went to throw inside, and it ended up hitting Skylar Wallace, and so it was a hit by pitch. Good productive out here by Bubba Nichols to be able to advance the runner 60 feet whenever Zerkle was able to go from second to third on that fly ball.
This is what's interesting this first week or two when you talk about how little time these teams have had really as a complete unit. The Talons maybe have had less time than anyone, with players playing professionally in Japan that are going to join a little bit later, and then others who got here late, like Sydney Romero, who was in Oklahoma City with Oregon, or Tori Vidalis, who was on a plane this morning from the Women's College World Series with you and Jess Mendoza. But the situationals for these teams, maybe a work in progress.
Yeah, will definitely be a work in progress here at the beginning of the season, for sure.
Aaron Koffel, the former Kentucky star. Wallace stays at first on the first pitch.
That's why that reserve athlete pool is so important, to be able to have that pool to fill in spots when players are missing or injured.
It's in there for strike one. Two of those players for the Talons, Jadalyn Allchin and A Shipman, as well as the pitcher Lauren Durkowski from Michigan. For the Bandits, they only have one, Kelly Torres. There goes Wallace. Zerkle dives back into third.
And a first and third play as a catcher, there's so many different ways that you can run it. They decided to let Skylar Wallace get to second. Palacios decided she was going to try to catch Zerkle sleeping over at third base. Didn't work. It's a great pitch. I feel like Fouts is locating that curveball well on the outer half. She hasn't missed much on the plate. She's been throwing it about a ball off the plate, especially these especially to these right-handed hitters on the outside corner.
Bandits 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. That changes, and that's going to roll to the wall from Aaron Koffel. The Bandits in front. Koffel wants 3, and she'll have it.
So we've seen our first everything. First single, first double, first triple now, and first home run. Hitters are going so well with the outer half. That pitch was down the zone. Good swing by Koffel to stay down on it. She barrels it up hard right up the middle of the field for a couple of RBIs, and we have our first lead change of the AUSL.
Devin Netz trying to keep it going. You heard a pretty good roar from this sold-out crowd. These are not city-based teams this year. This is a touring entity. There'll be 10 cities during the AUSL season that have professional softball in them. There is no mistake, though, that the Bandits are named what they are. For the old MPF team, it is a nod to them. They have reintroduced this franchise as one of the 4 inaugural teams, and they are hoping for the first ever win in the AUSL.
The first pick in round 1.
Bandits select pitcher
Going first overall was honestly just an amazing night to make history, honestly. It was a moment that I didn't really foresee coming in my future, but it's such an honor. Being part of the Bandits is very special. To be part of a team that kind of already has a little bit of history, to be a part of something that can be so big but yet so small right now is absolutely crazy to me. So I'm excited to see where the league leads in the future and how big we can make softball.
Well, with names like Lexi Kilfoyle, league's got a good chance for a bright future. So many stars. She is one of them. The first overall pick. She said she really didn't know what to expect on draft night. She was a little nervous. You know, you're Lexi Kilfoyle. You're going to get drafted. You're good, but didn't know exactly where that might lead. And she's really excited to be back with the team. Said she missed that team dynamic. Really kind of takes her a while to get comfortable. She loves that bonding, though, that you get with the team.
Yeah, I mean, the year that she had last year was such a great breakout year as a rookie. She garnered a lot of attention and clearly a lot of respect to be able to go #1 in the draft. And I'm sure there were nerves flowing for all the athletes. Because so many of them were veterans too. So it's like, wait, we're going through this draft process again. I thought we already did this, but we're going to go through the draft process again and see where we get chosen, if we get chosen, which team we're going to get chosen to. So that inaugural draft was a huge deal a few months ago, just to see how all the teams panned out.
I love that shot of Howard Dobson and Stacey Newman. Denise, you mentioned it earlier. There's a competitive, extreme competitive attitude from these teams, from these coaches. These are winners. Everybody here has been a winner. But there's also a bigger picture that is being painted that they all understand as Aguilar goes down swinging.
Shortstop, number 19.
Let's see this changeup just float in here. Out of the hand of Lexi Kilfoyle, dropped it down to just 64 miles an hour. So she's throwing hard, throwing 70, 69 miles an hour. So just varying the speed that she's taking off of these off-speed pitches, anywhere from 57 to 64.
Anna Flippin with one away. Struck out looking her first trip to the plate. Flippin skies this to left. It's just hanging up in the clouds right now and caught by Nichols Camarena. 2 outs.
Jacobsen.
Two outs for Jacobsen. That is scorched up the middle for Caroline Jacobsen, who is 2 for 2 today.
Yeah, Jacobsen's letting these pitches get deep. Like that, I should say it's easy as a hitter to go up to the plate and want to be early, want to get ahead, want to get a hit, be super aggressive. But with the way that Caroline Jacobsen has seen the ball, letting it get deep, first hit on a changeup, and then that one right there, great pieces of hitting.
First pitch swinging for Ellis in her second trip to the plate. .440 average, 26 home runs, 72 RBIs, and 69 walks this year at Arkansas for Bree Ellis.
That ball got lost in the sun. I think Devin Hatz would have had a chance to catch it up against the first base dugout, but I think she lost it in the sky with how bright it is. And Bree Ellis is going to get another opportunity. That's huge. Easily could have been an out if it's a different kind of sky, if she can pick it up. See if she can battle with 0-2.
Bree Ellis has not been accustomed to seeing strikes over the last 2 months of the season. College Game said no thank you to pitching to Bree Ellis for a long time. Nets can't track that one down. And no better moment. I mean, one of the best moments of the college softball season. Arkansas's opener against Georgia, SEC tournament. Bree Ellis hasn't seen a strike comes up to the plate with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 7th and hits a walk-off grand slam.
Yeah, we were talking about MLB posting about college softball. That was one of those moments that MLB posted about.
Swings through it. Kilfoyle has won both battles with Bree Ellis here on opening day. Bandits 2, Talons 1. Lexi Kilfoyle has been dominant in the circle so far. Just the 1 run allowed on the solo home run from Sierra Sacco, but a few swings and misses. And the #1 overall pick is proving her worth here on opening day of what is somewhat of a pitcher's duel. We are joined by the head coach of the Bandits, Stacey Newman-Denise. I'll ask you about the 1st overall pick. I'm sure that's not too hard of a decision to start her today. Why did you go with her, though, in that draft?
She keeps the ball low. She keeps the ball in the park, and she's a professional. She's a young stud that we're going to see a long time in a Bandit uniform, hopefully, and really like what we see out of her early going here, game 1.
Stacey, as a former player and current coach at multiple different levels, what is a day like today like for you?
This is, anytime you can be a part of history, it's really special, and I'm very much a tiny little bitty part of it, but it's really cool just to see the atmosphere that that Athletes Unlimited has provided for these athletes, giving them this platform and treating them like the professionals that they are. So I'm really excited to be a part of it, really honored to be a part of it, and ready to get after it today.
We're thrilled you're a part of it too, Stacey. Thanks so much.
Go Bandits.
She has just been in it at every level. In the college game as a player, in the college game as a coach, internationally as an Olympian. She's been in that coaching tree for Team USA. And when the pro level is called, no matter what it's been, she has said yes.
Lisa Fernandez called people like Stacey and herself and Bubba as examples of lifers, is what Lisa Fernandez said, the GM of the Talons, where you just don't want to leave the sport. You want to be around it as much as possible. You see a field and you get excited about it. You just look at the field differently than probably some stranger going past the softball field. You love softball and you are a lifer. And a lot of people in our sport are like that because they just love it so much as a fan, as a former player, as a coach, in all different capacities.
Hard hit through the 5-6 hole. Corey McMillan on the board, the rookie from Virginia Tech.
These opposite field hits are just continuing to pile up. I feel like all the ones that we've seen have gone oppo. Hitters letting these pitches get deep, hitting it where it's pitched. On the outside corner, he's seen a lot of outside pitches to both left-handed and right-handed hitters, and they're able to go opposite way with it.
Corey McMillan, the 4th pick in the college draft. She was one of those 12 golden tickets that just took the softball world by storm. Everyone loved them. They were incredible moments. Chance for 2. Romero to Aguilar to Ellis.
And when we talk about these teams sticking together week after week as opposed to the other Athletes Unlimited seasons, you're going to start to see them communicate better, get each other, get a feel of each other, especially on the infield and for plays like that. So that's the first 5-4-3 double play that we've seen for the Talons, and I feel like that's not going to be the last. On defense, I feel like is a way you really start to see that communication and awareness and feel of each other start to come out when you play together as a team.
One of our first changes today, and for the first time ever, as many things are, the first pinch hitter in AUSL history. This is Bella Dayton. She's got to be feeling pretty good right now. Played her college ball at Texas. 3 years there, 3 Women's College World Series. And got to watch her former team, former head coach Mike White, lift the trophy last night.
She was not on that field, but she was on that field along with all the players who had played in years before and had been to the finals and come so close under Mike White. She was one of those players, and I know a big reason for why that program continued to get built up under Mike White.
Kat Osterman, I mentioned earlier, was here last night at the welcome event for the AUSL season, and there was a TV, of course, at that event with the Women's College World Series final on it, and Kat at that final out. Obviously elated, but also very emotional for her as a former Longhorn great.
And I like to see the new faces that we haven't seen in Athletes Unlimited come and play in the AUSL. It's always fun to see. And not a huge roster that these coaches are going to have a chance to play with. So a roster of 16, a lot of five pitchers on every team. And if the Bandits are lucky because they have Devin Nett, so they actually have 6 pitchers because she's a two-way player. So the coaches are going to have to be strategic with how they use pinch runners and pitch hitters and use their pitching changes and really start to figure this whole thing out. I mean, it's early. There's just going to be so much learning that goes on with these smaller rosters than something like Stacey Newman-Denise is used to, and Howard Dobson, who coached at LSU and have bigger rosters to play with in the college game.
Ground ball right side. Aguilar handles it. And a leadoff single, but it really ends up being 1-2-3 after the double play.
The next legendary big league is here. Athletes Unlimited Softball League. This is legendary.
The AUSL has arrived. 4 teams in this inaugural season, 16 players. Bandits, Blaze, Talons, and Volts. It is a 24-game season. We will span 10 different cities across the United States, and it all concludes in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, July 26th through the 30th. The league being led by a pioneer in Major League Baseball and now on the softball side, Kim Ng. Taylor McMillan relieving Lexi Kilfoyle. McMillan, another longtime pro, former Olympian with Team Mexico. She was a star at Arizona in her time out of Mission Viejo, California. The last 2 summers have been her best, a 16-5 record and a sub-3 ERA in over 100 innings pitched for McMillan.
Really spinny, really crafty from the left-hand side. And in relief of Lexi Kilfoyle, just given a completely different look. And Taylor McMillan has really learned how to change speeds and manipulate her pitches using effective velocity that she studied. Didn't get the strike call there. I thought that probably should have been a strike, but walk to Allchin.
Jalen Allchin, one of those reserve players filling in for a couple of the misses for the Talons, including Maya Brady and Savannah Jaquish. Allchin pinch hitting for A Shipman-Sh, who is a good friend of our sister, Maddie Shipman, who you were with all week at the Women's College World Series.
Yeah, it's a good time to bring in the lefty as well with Taylor McMillan, with where the Talons are at in their lineup. Not sure if the Bandits knew that Allchin was going to hit, but you have 3 lefties in a row with Allchin, Sacco, and then Hayward, who's on deck.
Sacco laying down the bunt after the solo home run earlier, and the sacrifice works. The rookie playing her part.
Center fielder, number 1, Victoria Hayward.
From a first-year player to a veteran in Victoria Hayward, who's been a pro since 2015. And she has been excellent. Her numbers have not dipped one bit. A career 368 hitter in Athletes Unlimited. Hit 341 last summer. And was the Mountain West Coach of the Year in her first season as a head coach at Nevada.
Well, she just has so much experience at all different levels. Playing on the Canadian national team when she was 16, so getting international level of experience at such a young age, and then continuing to be a veteran here at the pro level, or the pro league, I should say.
Tying run in scoring position for Hayward off McMillan. Allchin, the first time a leadoff runner has reached for the Talons. Hayward takes same spot on the inside corner, strike 2.
I'm still going back about taking Lexi Kilfoyle out. I thought that she was pitching well, but just trying to figure out, okay, it's early in the season. Maybe you want to give her just the 4 innings, kind of ease her into things, and then also top of the lineup, due up in this inning for their 3rd at bat off of her, plus all the lefties that were coming up. So just trying to stay ahead of the pitching changes before things get out of hand and the hitters start to make adjustments, be proactive with the pitching changes.
Ground ball back to McMillan, thought about going to 3rd. Instead takes out number 2 over at first base.
I mean, that was such great speed from Jalen Allchin. That ball took Taylor McMillan toward the 3rd base side, and Allchin got such a good jump, and she is so fast that McMillan didn't feel like she was even going to have a play at 3rd base. But this ball takes her that way. She easily could have gone 3, but she decides to go ahead and take the sure out at 1 because Allchin made her make that decision with her speed.
Romero, first pitch swinging, shallow right, and the wind pushing that a little bit, but McMillan takes care of it. Another runner left on base. Bandits still up 1. Montana Fouts back in the circle, down just 1. She's thrown a great game, though, in her 2025 debut for the Talons. Has a chance to be one of the leaders of this staff and of this team. Her counterpart, Lexi Kilfoyle, who was removed after 4 solid innings of 1-run ball, joins us now for a chair chat. Second-year pro, Lexi. I mean, you've done this, you pitched in big moments. Were there a little nerves today coming into opening day?
Oh, yes, there always is. I think I haven't pitched in a full game since, January. So the nerves will always be there in the 1st and 2nd inning. But once I get comfortable, got to get the nervous out, and I'm good.
Yeah, so how did it feel out there with this crowd and just the vibe and momentum? How did it feel out there?
Super exciting. I think I'm just so glad to be back on a team and just with girls that I have 3 months with. So super excited for our team, and I think it's only going to be up from here. So good stuff.
What's the week been like for you, kind of getting acclimated to this Bandits team?
Yeah, honestly, just a lot of practice and a lot of live at-bats. That's one thing that the coaches have been really good about, is giving us live at-bats and giving us mound time. So kind of getting the tough situations out of the way, so the game-like situations are a little easier.
Lexi, great start to the season. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Go Bandits.
Thanks, Lexi.
Fouts trying to hold serve. 9-1-2 here for the Bandits. Sydney McKinney, superstar from Wichita State, at the plate to lead things off. 3 lefties in a row. McKinney, Zerkle, Wallace to face Fouts.
I'm looking forward, Chucky, to seeing how these fans start to connect with each of these teams. You know, they're shuffling around teams or every single week, and it's different now where fans have a chance to really latch on to one team. So which team are they going to connect with the most? The vibe of the team, the brand of the team, the way that they play, their favorite players on a team, they get to follow them all throughout, and it makes this league different feel this year.
McKinney staying alive with 2 strikes. And we've talked a lot about figuring things out, but we've also mentioned there's 24 games. Top 2 teams go to Tuscaloosa to play for a championship there is a sense of urgency over these first 7 to 10 days of this season to have some level of success.
Yeah, it'll be different as well because they'll be traveling around to different cities, so you'll have to get used to different fields. And I love that because speaking of fans, different fans from different places and regions will have a chance to come out and watch these teams live and in person. It's the benefit of traveling around to these different states is that different young teams and areas get to come out and see them and support.
So if I asked you where we're going over the next 2 weeks, you would have it down, right?
Yeah, I know.
Fresh off the plane from OKC?
I know this series and then the next one. And
Okay.
beyond that, I get a little bit lost right now.
Oh, that hit Fouts on the ankle. It's going to be an infield single for McKinney to lead off the inning, and hopefully Fouts is okay. She looks like she is. Montana in her final season at Alabama suffered a torn ACL in her left knee. That was in the 2023 SEC tournament, missed a couple weeks, and then returned in supers to help lead them to the Women's College World Series in what was really a heroic effort down the stretch for Patrick Murphy's team.
I remember that. That took a lot from her to be able to come back after that injury, and it's hit with the ground ball there. And look, to me, Howard Dobson is looking to make a pitching change. Third time through the order coming up in this inning. You're going to see what looks like Stacey Newman-Denise and Howard Dobson make pitching changes third time through. Try to keep these hitters at bay.
The Talons missing their top 2 picks right now, still returning from their professional seasons in Japan, Georgina Korik and Megan Faremo. And it looks like they're going to go to a lefty in Mariah Lopez, who was a grad assistant for Courtney Deifel at Arkansas, so very familiar with Bree Ellis, one of her teammates, but making her debut here. She was a star at Utah. Lopez finished her Utah career with back-to-back 20-win seasons, 55 total over those last 2 years. All Pac-12 first-team nods in each of them, with an ERA of around 2.50 and about 400 innings in her final 2 seasons.
How about the fact that both head coaches are going from a righty to a lefty in relief? We don't have a ton of lefties in this league, but I think that they're going to be at a premium with Taylor McMillan on one side and now Mariah Lopez coming in. We're getting our first chance of taking a look at her in Athletes Unlimited. We have not seen her before.
Well, Savannah can add more on the Talons pitching staff.
Yeah, associate head coach Kirk Walker said this is what you should expect from this team, especially going into the first series. They don't have everybody here today. Like you mentioned, they are going to pitch as a staff throughout the first series, he said, but a presence like Megan Faremo is felt all the way from Japan. He said when this team started getting together throughout spring training, Megan was sending videos and years worth of notes against these hitters that they would face in the Bandits pitching staff that she had gathered. And he said that is the type of leader that Megan is even when she's not here every day. So seeing this pitching change and the way that this staff is able to work together as a team, they're even doing it when they're not all in the same place yet.
Savannah, you are going to have to get your hands on these notes. I need to see them. I mean, that is impressive, and that is a good teammate sitting in your notes that you yourself have collected on your own and giving them to the rest of your pitching staff. Selfless.
Lopez bounces the first pitch in. You mentioned Kirk Walker, who's a longtime part of the UCLA softball program, and there's Bruins all over this league, whether it's coaching, GMs, players, and one of those players is behind the plate, Charlize Palacios. Her and Kirk Walker would be very familiar with each other from their time as Bruins. Zerkle lays down the bunt. Here's Romero making a nice play over at third base.
The sacrifice bunt opportunities that we're seeing is both coaches calling the bunt in a bunt situation, putting it down, executing. That's a bang play too with the speed of Zerkle. I mean, that sacrifice bunt situation gets real hard when you have her type of speed. That is a great play by Sydney Romero to get that out.
For Sydney Romero, we walked by her in the Dome, the training facility for the league next door before, and she said, man, like, what a day this is. And for her, that's a couple meanings. The Romero sisters lost their dad a couple years ago, and this would have been his 54th birthday. And so you have to think back of their mind, a little bit heavy hearts today as this league debuts with both Romero sisters a part of it. Their dad was one of their best coaches, one of their biggest supporters. And there's Sydney right on cue. And that one got away from her, though. Now Zerkle's coming, McKinney's coming home, and she'll score. There is some serious speed on this Bandits team. Sydney McKinney, one of them from the 9 spot, and that is heads-up base running.
Looked like they were going to get out of the inning. That was a hot shot right at Sid, and she's able to field it, but just airmailed the throw. Maybe thought too much about it, slipped out of her hand. Not really sure what happened there, but you have speed with Wallace and then speed with McKinney. And when that ball got behind the first baseman of Ellis, she was thinking, I am going to score on this, and she did. Takes a 2-run lead.
Now Bubba, another chance. She's 0 for 2 with Wallace on second base. And just one away. Bubba into right field and deep. And that one, it's killed a little bit in the wind. The flags are being blown straight across the field from the right field pole to the left.
Hitters are covering the outside pitch so well, and you are right. I mean, that wind is howling. We can't forget about it because we can't feel it in here in the booth, but that wind is blowing hard. Just knocked that ball down. I think that would have gone to the wall, at least.
One-0 count to Erin Koffel. First 3-time All-American in Kentucky's program history for Rachel Lawson. Couple Wildcats in the league. Kayla Kowalik, don't believe she has arrived yet. Part of the Texas Tech coaching staff. Erin was actually at Florida this year as a graduate manager for Tim Walton and company.
A lot of coaches fresh off of Women's College World Series experience coaching, as Erin Koffel was with Florida. They made it to the Women's College World Series. Sydney Romero was with Oregon. They made it to the Women's College World Series. Kayla Kowalik, as you mentioned, Bubba Nichols.
Koffel sits on that, out to Jacobsen, and that'll do it for the 5th inning. The Bandits get one of insurance, 2-run lead. Opening day of the AUSL, and there are a lot of games coming your way this summer. Volts Blaze tonight at 7:30 Eastern. We are back tomorrow at 2 Eastern for Game 2 of this 3-game series between the Talons and Bandits. The whole schedule, all the broadcast information can be found on the AUSL.com. Busy summer. You thought you were going to get a break after the Women's College World Series. You will not.
I actually don't want a break. What I was going to say is I was going to be bummed after the World Series that those games were over, but we just roll right into the AUSL and we have more softball to watch. Perfect.
See those numbers. Talons have really struggled to lead off innings, just 1 for 5 at the plate. Bandits, on the other hand, 4 for 5 leading off innings.
I should have known that the wind would be blowing hard at this field. I'd forgotten about it, Chucky. This wind, if there is a day that the wind is not blowing, it is a rarity. Forgot about that. It usually blows in, knocks the ball down, blowing in like it is right now.
Pitchers love it.
Pitchers love it. The 10th defender out there.
different locations. The games are staggered, so for us, we get done and we can flip the other. You don't have to worry about the multiple TVs on.
Oh, it's 2-2.
Pitch is outside 3-2. Palacios trying to wait on that pitch from McMillan. Three-two battle here between Charlize Palacios and Taylor McMillan. Eighth pitch. Fouled straight back. Palacios started her career at Arizona, 3 years there. One of them was COVID shortened. Taylor McMillan was a first-team All-American as a senior at Arizona in 2019. 80-game winner, playing for the legend Mike Candrea. Over at first base is the last Wildcat to ever play for Mike Candrea in an Arizona uniform, Devin Netz. And her and Taylor McMillan go way back. Taylor was a GA early in Netz's time at Arizona, and I talked to Jenny Dalton-Hill, another Arizona legend who is the Bandits general manager, and said Taylor's really taken her under her wing as a pro. Palacios wins that one. That gets away from McMillan, but Charlize will hold up at first base with a single.
The thing that Morgan Zerkle was headed that way is a backup and is moving toward the ball because that got away from McMillan. Easily could have been an extra 60 feet for Palacios. As you're talking about Mike Candrea, I was thinking about Devin Netz and her golden ticket moment. That was given by Natasha Watley, and Coach Candrea was there to see that moment. Special in the home field in Tucson.
Aguilar at the plate, Palacios at first, nobody out in a two-run ball game. Allie Aguilar hasn't played with Athletes Unlimited since 2021. Has been out of Washington for a while now. 2017 was her last year at Washington when she was a two-time All-American in her final 2 years there. Another silver medalist with Team USA at the 2020 Olympics.
Another player with a ton of experience.
Talons have 6 players who graduated college in 2019 or earlier. 4 Olympians from 3 different countries. And of course, they've got that UCLA flavor, as you would expect, with Lisa Fernandez drafting the team, and the fact that that's been one of the greatest programs in college softball history and continues to be fantastic.
I think if Lisa Fernandez had it her way, that she would have every UCLA player in the pool.
To left field toward one of them who she told us she wished she would have had, Bubba Nichols Camarena.
That UCLA Bruin blood runs deep in that connection. We'll get to see enough of each other next season. They saw a lot of each other this past season.
I apologize. We are experiencing some technical difficulties right now. (3-1) Bandits over the Talons. The first ever game of the AUSL. There's Devin Netz. She's got a great glove over at first base.
Well, that's the second opportunity that she had in this game to make a play like that. The first one was off the bat at Ellis, and she just seemed like she kind of lost it or Not quite sure what happened, but gets another opportunity up against the first base dugout and comes away with the pop-up out.
Caroline Jacobsen's 2 for 2 with a pair of singles. First look at Taylor McMillan. Jacobsen's third year. She's from Tallahassee, Florida. Played her college ball, though, at Clemson and Duke. She committed to Duke softball in high school before there was a field built. Marissa Young has skyrocketed that program into national prominence, taking them to their first ever Women's College World Series last year. Into right field, Jacobsen continues to swing it well. That one, though, right at McMillan. Chances winding down for the Talons as they trail by 2. 3-1, Bandits over the Talons, bottom of the 6th. Chance for the Bandits to add a little insurance before the final chance for the Talons here in the opening game of the AUSL. It's going to be a busy summer for the league all over the country, really, all the way up to Seattle, Washington, and then out to Greenville, North Carolina for the AU Pro Games at the Little League World Series. Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Utah, and of course our AUSL Championship Series in Tuscaloosa, Alabama at the Rhodes House. Volts Blaze tonight, 7:30 Eastern. We'll turn our attention to that one when we get done here in Rosemont. Visit the AUSL.com to learn more. Broadcast schedule and the schedule as a whole can be found there. Devin Netz is 0 for 2 in her professional debut. Ground ball left side, Romero on the line, and they'll call it a foul ball. Devin Netz, Big 12 Player of the Year, second team All-American. She missed all of 2024 with an injury, so returned and had a career year both at the plate and in the circle.
Yeah, she's just so powerful, and that's the benefit of having her on your roster, is that you can put her at first base. She's a great defender over there. You can put her in the circle, and then you can put her right in the middle of your order as a power hitter.
Now trying to be a two-strike hitter against Lopez. Off the end of the bat over to Aguilar. One out.
The right fielder, number 2, McMillan.
Back-to-back rookies for the Bandits. Nets, now Corey McMillan. Left side, Romero diving from her knee, not in time to get McMillan.
Cindy Romero is getting tested over there at third base. I feel like every other ball is headed her way. It's finding her a lot over there in the hot corner. She could have stayed on her feet. She would have been able to make a play, but because she had to dive, go down to her knees, it took some time out of that play, and then McMillan able to get down to first base.
McMillan, really known for her power, hit 52 home runs over the last 2 seasons at Virginia Tech. There were a lot of great golden ticket moments. Corey McMillan's is right up there. She got hers at the Gobblers annual kind of Virginia Tech Athletics Award show, and they had already been to Virginia Tech because Emma Lemley got the first golden ticket. And so when Kim Ng took the stage at that award show, and often these teams kind of know who maybe has a chance at a golden ticket, so there's a camera on Corey McMillan and instant tears.
God, the golden ticket moments were just so good.
Swing and a miss from Wisz for out number 2.
Mariah Lopez is just changing speeds like crazy. Changeup is one of her favorite pitches, coming from the left-hand side, and she is just getting his hitters all out in front of that pitch.
Strike 1 to Jordan Roberts. I am jealous you got to deliver a golden ticket to one of your fellow Aggies in Emily Kennedy.
Moment I'll always remember. I'm sure Aggie fans will remember too, and that is the point, right? You want them to follow Emily Kennedy along.
Runner goes, no one's there.
Yeah, you're gonna see these types of things early in the season as teams start to communicate. Nobody covering though. Flippin thought that Aguilar was covering. Aguilar thought that Flippin was covering, and then nobody did. Palacios is like, hey, there's somebody stealing. I'm gonna throw it down there. If you guys could figure it out, that'd be great.
I think McMillan maybe saw them on their heels a little there, or is that just coincidence that...
I'm sure it's something that Stacey Newman-Denise picked up to call it.
The Talons are challenging the runner leaving early at first base. This play is under review.
The challenge is see if she's leaving early, which is the bane of every softball fan's existence at this point, alongside of obstruction, but it's a part of our game that you can challenge this if she left early. Can't leave, your foot can't release from the bag until the ball has left the pitcher's hand. It's on time to me.
Yeah. This challenge likely to be unsuccessful. She did steal 35 bases at Virginia Tech over the last couple seasons. Played 2 years at Radford before that.
She got a great jump. And you see the middle infielders, how late they were to move, so that throw is just going to go right into center field to Vic Hayward.
How many stolen bases you have in your career?
Okay, I was just looking at this. I think it was like 11 or 12 total.
I'm impressed.
And I'm sure most of them probably came on a first and third situation where I just got to mosey on down to second as a runner at first base. They'll take it. I think the most I had was 6 or 7 in 1 year.
That's impressive.
I'll take it.
After review, the call is confirmed. The runner is safe. That's the Talons' first challenge.
Yep.
Nicely done by our umpiring crew. Talons trying to find a bit of momentum to go to the 7th and their final opportunity in this game. 1-1 count from Lopez to Roberts, swings through it, strike 2.
Ooh, Mariah Lopez looks really good in her outing. Brought her in at the top of the order whenever the Bandits were approaching their 3rd time through in relief of Montana Fouts, and I just feel like she's looked really good.
Well, if you've watched professional softball, or the college game for that matter, over the last 3 to 5 years, not a lot of pitchers who can go 6+ consistently. Not that they can't, you just don't often see it, certainly not unscathed. And you get the feeling these staffs and how they're managed is going to be extremely important as the year goes on.
It's a big reason, too, why they wanted to add an additional roster spot to the rosters. They were thinking they'd go with 15 and 4 pitchers on each team, but then after considering how much offense is in our game and the use of pitching staffs and not throwing as many complete games anymore, made the decision to bring in an extra arm, which I thought was a great decision by management to have 5 pitchers on each team.
Well, there's going to be plenty of opportunity for all 5 of those arms to get work as probably as starters and relievers, but it'll be interesting how they develop and how they kind of grab onto roles as the year goes on. Roberts able to work a 2-out walk.
That's a big walk by Jordan Roberts, because now you essentially bring up the second leadoff hitter and Sydney McKinney hitting from the 9-hole. And fortunately for the Talons defense, there's a force at third base trying to get her to hit a ground ball to the left side for an easy out at third base. But with her speed at third, it's going to put pressure on this defense, and speed on deck with Morgan Zerkle.
Lopez calls time. Something wasn't right there.
And you'll notice that the game goes by a little bit faster than what you see in the college game. Only 15 seconds on the action clock in between pitches. As opposed to college game is 20 seconds.
And there's no real number for the batter. The college game batter has to be in the box at 10 seconds and ready. In the pro game, there's just an emphasis on them keeping a foot in the box at all times. McKinney trying to straighten it out down the left field line.
And with the Bandits just having a 2-run lead, it's important that Mariah Lopez and the Talons defense keeps the score where it's at to head to the 7th inning. It's down by 2. Big opportunity for the Bandits to extend the lead and get some insurance runs late in this game.
Ellis will lead off the top of the 7th inning. And they keep it at 2 runs. Two and two. Ground ball left side. Romero steps on third, and the Talons have 3 outs to find 2 runs. How about a pair of first-team All-Americans coming up in the next 3 batters? Opening day winding down. All started in the 3rd inning. The rookie out of Mississippi State, Sierra Sacco, with the first ever home run in the AUSL to give the Talons the lead. And then Aaron Koffel, a 2 RBI triple to put the Bandits in front, and they have maintained that lead since. Defensive miscue for the Talons helped the Bandits add to that lead. This game not quite done yet, though. One final chance for the Talons. They need at least 2 to extend this game, or else the Bandits, a franchise that has been revived by the AUSL as one of the 4 inaugural teams, will have the first ever AUSL win. Bree Ellis to lead off, Jalen Allchin in the 2 spot, and Sierra Sacco due up 3rd against Taylor McMillan, who delivers strike 1 on the inside corner.
Yeah, these pitchers against Bree Ellis are just sneaking in some pitches on the inner half. Lexi Kilfoyle did the same thing when she struck her out with the drop in, and then McMillan goes right back to that same spot.
The thing about these college players, come the end of August, there's going to be some real mileage on the tires because of coming straight out of the college season and basically a week or 2 or less from their season's ending right here in the pro game.
You have to get used to a slightly bigger strike zone as well, as Taylor McMillan gets that call in the outer half and a little bit off the plate. Let's see if she goes back inside. No, Roberts setting up outside.
Off speed, Ellis down the line, and it is foul.
It's close.
Great article on MLB.com, kind of about the league as a whole, and Bree Ellis had a mention in it, of course, and acclimating to the pro game, getting to know her teammates, and she said, I don't have a car, so that helps because I'm constantly having to ride with somebody to get to practice or go out places.
Some good bonding time in the car, you know? Which I'm sure they're headed to a few meals in the car, so even more bonding time there.
McMillan trying to sit her down 1-2 and low. Downstairs 3-2. The Bandits' top 2 picks in the inaugural draft trying to go the distance on opening day. Lexi Kilfoyle was the #1 pick. McMillan was their 2nd pick, 8th overall. Ellis battles back from down way in the count 1-2 to get the leadoff walk.
And she took a bunch of pitchers' pitches in that AB. Did press whenever she got 2 strikes, had a good eye, patience at the plate. That's a big base runner to lead off this inning as the Talons try to get back into this game.
It's the 70th walk of the calendar year for Bree Ellis. Allchin swinging first pitch and fouls that up and out of play. Out of the reserve player pool is Jadalyn Allchin from Fountain Valley, California. Played at Washington and then finished her college career last year in 2024 at UCLA. And just completed her first year as an assistant coach at Michigan State. On the infield, Nets taking charge for her fellow Wildcat. 1 out. Talons just 1 for 9 with runners on base. Here is Sierra Sacco. From hardly recruited out of high school to Louisiana Tech, where she was the Conference USA Freshman of the Year, to Mississippi State, where she was a first-team All-American this year, and into the pros, where she hit the first ever AUSL home run.
She'll never forget this moment. Her first AB, first home run of the AUSL season, and did it out of the 9-hole. Rookie.
She told us earlier this year when we talked to her before the Auburn series that she felt like she was where she always belonged at Mississippi State. It felt like home to her. Only got 2 seasons there for Sam Ricketts, but she will return as a graduate assistant next year. One, 2.
And Howard Dobson coached at LSU for a very long time, and she's from Louisiana, so a lot of familiarity out on the recruiting trail with knowing her since she was getting recruited.
Bree Ellis on first base and Sierra Sacco at the plate. That's arguably the 2 best hitters in the SEC this year. She is battling back in the count. Full count again to a Talon batter from McMillan this inning. Got her on the inside corner. McMillan fired up, and there's 2 away.
That is a big out with the top of the order. Vic Hayward on deck. That could have been a walk with 2 on, and the top of the order coming up with less than 2 outs. Instead, it is a looking strikeout. Runner stays at 1, and now you have to face it, or get to face the top of the order with 2 outs. Just 1 out away from the first AUSL win.
Top of the order, Victoria Hayward takes ball 1 inside. Vic's 0 for 3 on the day. Pops this up on the infield. This could do it. It's Wisz, and it's the Bandits winning the first ever game in the AUSL.
Love to see it. So many firsts, and I still feel like so many more to come, whether it's later today in the game in Wichita, where the other 2 teams will play each other, or maybe even tomorrow when we're right back here and these 2 teams will square off. But love to see the first. It is so fun to be a part of history.
And you can see one of the leaders of this team developing before your eyes. Skylar Wallace right at the heart of that huddle, talking to her team after an opening day win back tomorrow, 2 Eastern for Game 2 between these two teams. Series finishes on Tuesday. Still more coming tonight from the AUSL, but what a fantastic day we've had so far as the Bandits take down the Talons 3-1. And you got to have a picture on opening day to remember it. Savannah Collins is down on the field with Aaron Koffel.
Aaron, this team settled in, as Skylar Wallace just said in the huddle. What is it that really allowed you guys to find your groove in the 3rd inning, you hitting a triple, bringing in 2 runs?
Yeah, I think for us the biggest thing was just getting the first inning or first at bat out of the way, you know, trying to find a way to settle down the most. And I think we did a really good job of that. Obviously the first inning was, 3 up, 3 down, but I think we had really good at bats and we just had the mentality to pass the bat down. So.
Opening day is in the books. The Bandits have the first win of this league. What does it feel like to hear that for this franchise, to start on that kind of note and have a great offensive day too?
I just think the Bandits, like what we're creating right now, is something super, super special, especially in Chicago. And I think we're creating a really cool culture and a really cool environment to play softball in.
Okay, I know it's only day 1, but I felt it in your dugout. What is that culture so far?
I just think we're all very chill people. We all bring the energy. You know, Skylar has a little edge to her, and I think that's what she brings to our team, and then the rest of us are just really, really chill. Skylar has a little chillness to her too, but I just think that's super cool for us, as we can all come together for one to win. So
the AUSL Bandits win on day 1. Thank you so much, Aaron. Congrats on a great day.
Thank you.
Check it back to you.
Thanks, Savannah. Aaron Koffel, one of the heroes for the Bandits. Their top 2 picks, Kilfoyle and McMillan, combine for the complete game 1-run win over the Talons. Unbelievable day, though, for softball and women's sports in general.
It still feels like Christmas. Natasha Watley said that she went to bed last night feeling like today was going to be Christmas, and you wake up, it feels like Christmas Day with the excitement around this league, and it still feels this way after game number 1 is in the books. So much excitement around the AUSL. Can't help it.
Partner, pleasure to share this historic day with you.
You too.
Can't
so
wait for
awesome.
the rest of the summer.
Go softball.
Unbelievable. Producer Casey Carter, director Todd Kinsey leading the charge for this awesome crew out of Rosemont, Illinois. This is just the beginning, folks. The AUSL has officially arrived, and it is here to stay. Another game coming up later tonight between the Blaze and the Volts from Wichita, Kansas. For Amanda Scarborough, Savannah Collins, I'm Chucky Kemp. So long.